And welcome back to Jesus. All right.
No, that's it. That's the one. Nope.
Welcome back. Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back to the 60-second card, the podcast that covers the entire Fast and the Furious franchise that will go from minute to minute doing everything that has never been done before. This is the only podcast that exists that's like this. There's no other podcast out in the world that does this exact thing. And if they do, they should come guest on this podcast. They should come on the podcast.
You will be hearing from our legal team.
Yeah, I hope so. Because, like, you know, I got a good lawyer. But yeah, we're gonna jump into minute 19. This is a wonderful minute that I think is just more adrenaline pumping right after this theme song.
60-second
And we're back. Welcome back to the 60-second car, the podcast that we're gonna do some fun with. We're once again joined by the one and only Mr. Daniel, aka Overcord, aka host of the Far Beyond Metal podcast. And well, if for any of your metal needs, whether you need sheet metal or corrugated steel or grindhouse plasteel. Is it plastic? Is it steel? I'm not sure. We have Daniel as I've joined as always.
I'm a master of aluminum. Real quick, is your lawyer also my lawyer? I feel like we established that on the old show at some point.
I don't. Oh, yeah, probably. The old show? Yeah, probably. I was like, not this show. I don't think so.
No. Convenient. Okay, cool. Take it.
Yeah, we have the same lawyer.
We'll take you down. Cool.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting to see the battle that would ensue of lawyers talking about, like, what you have a podcast that breaks down every single minute of a franchise that is globally neutral and whether people like it or not. You want us to fight about this? What?
You're telling me someone else had this terrible idea. Okay, cool.
Cool. All right, whatever.
Is anyone making money off of it? No. What are you fighting about?
Yeah, exactly. And we are joined not by someone who's always here. We have a guest for the first recording session, now the second episode ever. Our friend, are we still going by Monica this episode, or do we have a different nickname?
We can say my name. I'm Alvaro, Alvaro.
Okay, not steady.
Not steady.
Or Cat Daddy, according to the blind homeless guy.
Oh yeah,
in San Francisco that one time.
Heck yeah.
So, quick story there. So
yes,
we're seeing Devin Townsend probably for like the millionth time.
Okay.
And we're in line outside the Great American Music Hall in San Francisco, and this guy's going down the line asking people for change. He goes to Thomas was there, right?
I think so. Yeah, it was Thomas Ryan.
So he goes to Thomas, Ryan, and I, and he's like, "Hey, do you guys have any change? Have any change? No, it's fine." And then he walks up to Alvaro. He's like, "Hey, Cat Daddy," and starts like rubbing his belly and just like trying to get all over. Yeah, and just like, yeah, you know what they say, man? Surfs up. Life's a beach. Surfs up. Come on, Cat Daddy. His tone completely changed when we get to Alvaro.
Why? I don't know. And how did he know to do that to me?
I'm still jealous to this day.
Yeah, how did he know he was there? He was like,
if you're like me, you're used to it, right? The only brown guy in the group, is that right?
Ryan's half.
Ryan's kind of there.
Thomas is half black, but like.
So not really.
No.
All right. I'm usually one of the only brown guys in the group. So it usually happens to me as well. In fact, not the last time I was in San Francisco. This was back in 2015 at the first TwitchCon. I was hanging out with one of my good friends. Katie was there as well. And guy just came up to us and started singing some Gambler to us. Just, you gotta know when to hold them. Know when to copyright. And he was saying the whole song, and we were trying to give him like, please stop, like trying to give him like signals like, please, we're good, like thank you. And he's like, you got any cash? I'm like, I knew this was happening. No, I don't.
Was it Kenny Rogers?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
It is Kenny Rogers, yeah. It's probably the only song I know by Kenny Rogers.
Oh no, it was the man Kenny Rogers.
Oh, was the man? Oh no, sorry. I thought you were saying something different because I don't know much from Kenny Rogers. But no, that wasn't. It wasn't Kenny Rogers. However, if he walked up and just started singing that, you wouldn't stop him. You wouldn't even try to stop him. You
At
just
this
watch
point, I
that
would.
happen.
He's dead. That's a zombo attacking you.
But like 2015, you know. I also didn't know he was dead, but whatever. It's fine. I'm not covering up for that or anything. But yeah, I mean, you know, that's San Francisco, man. There's a lot of things that happen. I've seen way more penises than I've ever wanted to see ever in my entire life in San Francisco, and it's mostly not. It's not like from celebration. It's just straight up like, I'm just pulling it out here, man. That's just you can leave if you want, but this is just happening. I'm like, all right, cool, bye. It is.
If there was a penis quota, you've reached it.
Yes.
In San Francisco alone.
Yes. San Francisco is the penis city.
Penis. I think it's on. I think that's written above the Golden Gate. Last time I was in San Francisco, we were on Haight Street, which I mean, that we're asking for it then. But outside of a vegan restaurant we went to, there was just two naked dudes who may have had a clipboard, but on their junk, pee and balls, they had just like a rubber glove covering everything, and that was it. And I was like, are these guys like protesting? Are they just like petitioning? Or are they just vibing? Either way, like they have a confidence I don't have, and they have fantastic physique, so I get it.
With like a clipboard sounds like it's straight from a movie. Like they just all of a sudden lost all their clothes and all they could grab was a clipboard just to cover the junk.
Were they collecting signatures?
I didn't stop long enough to talk to them.
Well, they obviously weren't covering their junk with the clipboard, so maybe it sounds like they were, you know, at least it was covered somewhat. You know, most of what I've seen in San Francisco has not been covered. I've seen people defecating into planters, and
so what you're saying is that a lot of them were uncircumcised. I mean, rather circumcised because they were not covered.
Right, exactly. They were not wearing turtlenecks. It was cold in San Francisco, but not that cold. I will say that like this is, and many people out there might like go to the stereotype. It's like, oh, homeless people doing homeless people stuff. At least half of the penises I saw were not from homeless people. They were just from probably drunk people doing weird things.
Because you asked, you said, "Hey, do you have a home?" They're like, "Yes." You're like, "All right, cool. Let me jot that."
Oh yeah, I asked for their ID and their address, and I went and checked it myself. I went to go see and verify myself because I'm that kind of guy. Totally.
And you peeked inside, you found all their clothes in a pile, and like, oh, that's where they are.
Yeah, conveniently folded weirdly. Like it didn't just come off; they were all folded in the corner. I don't. They were still wearing shoes. That's the thing.
Gotta look out for foot health.
Yeah, of course. Can't be. I mean, there's got to be needles galore in San Francisco. You got to wear your shoes, man.
Should we talk about fast?
We're talking about minute 19 of The Fast and the Furious, the 2001 classic. And we open up here with Leon, Leon's car yet again. We've already seen this. You might think this was like 2 minutes ago, but we've already seen basically this exact shot. And this is after Find Your Own Way, Find a Different Way, Pizza Boy, and stuff like that. And we're here met with Leon, who is, I don't know, probably on his phone playing Candy Crush at this point. That's what it looks like. But no, he's really checking. He's monitoring the radios because he has to. That's his. I think we've decided that's his job. That's just what he does. He's the radio guy.
Like yeah.
And okay, so it pans through to the same radio scanner that we had a couple minutes ago. This one right here, I'll bring it up here. It pans to this again, almost in exactly the same shot. They probably shot it at the same time. And then it pans down to this. I don't know what this is. It looks like a bomb.
Channel changer? I don't know either. I didn't even register that was a different thing.
Because it pans down to this big box, which looks like just a bigger, more industrial sized. I don't know if you use it for industrial purposes. I don't know. Industrial sized, like another police scanner, but it also has like buttons. It looks like a safe or a bomb. It looks like a steel case of some sort. I don't know what it is, but it pans through that until we get to I don't even remember what he says here, but he's like saying it's all clear. or something like that.
There's a murder at a liquor store, and Leon is
Oh.
stoked about it.
He's
'Cause, you know,
so
that-
stoked.
That means the cops are distracted. They can do this race. You guys, good news. Someone's dead.
A 187 or 187 homicide. As 187 is what a lot of my weirdo friends put in their like usernames and AOL Instant Messenger emails and stuff back in, you know, the times of For those who don't know what AOL Instant Messenger is, for those that are maybe, you know, gonna make me feel ancient, it's essentially text messaging or Discord messaging or instant messaging as we called it. DMs as you call it now. That's what it is. Wow. The fact that it took me that long to come up with that is scary. DMs.
Don't worry.
It was just a program just for DMs so you can talk to each other, and you would go after school and just boot it up, and you'd have to kick your grandparent or your mom off the phone so that she didn't tie up your phone line while you were on chatting with your friends that you just saw not 20 minutes ago.
That's my favorite thing to do. Hey, we just spent 8 hours together. Let's spend some more time.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it was a thing too. Like, if you weren't on or you weren't friends with certain people, like people were like gatekeeping who they were accepting friend requests from and stuff like that. And I didn't do this, but my cousin did this. He would have like a new account or username like every 2 weeks so that he can refresh the friends list. It was like I don't know. My cousin was a popular kid. I don't know what the heck they were doing, but that's what they were doing.
Interesting.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know.
What was your away message? Song lyrics?
Away message. It was probably a Command and Conquer Red Alert quote. Probably
Solid game.
like rubber boots
Respect.
in motion or shake it baby, which is a Duke Nukem thing, but I heard it first in Command and Conquer. I don't know, it's probably something like that. Do you remember a song lyric that you might have had there?
Nah, I mean, judging by the time that was happening, it was probably some Beck lyric, which meant it was nonsense.
I'm a loser, baby.
Yeah, but I wouldn't finish that because that's too sad.
I probably have some Linkin Park on there.
Shut up when you're talking to me.
Yeah, probably.
Which
Yeah,
is very easy to do in AIM because you could just ignore the message.
exactly. Man, if only I can bring some of those messages back and cringe so hard at reading them again.
Guys, let's do AIM again. Let's bring
Let's
it
do
back.
AIM again. Let's do it. Let's bring dial-up back. Why don't we? So yeah, there's a 187 somewhere across town of some sort, and yeah, Leon is very stoked about this because that means they can get it going. Which brings me to and this is the Nextels again. He's talking to Hector, which is what it implies, and he is so excited for this as well. He's ready because I don't know. I think he also loves murder, maybe, and that's why he gets excited. But he gets so excited about hearing about this.
So I have a question about. Go ahead.
No. I got something next. Go ahead.
I'm curious if your next thing is my next thing. Is-
How he's not the hot girl that says
Yes!
go. Yes.
I was
thank
gonna
you.
ask, is this the only time in the franchise it's not a hot girl that tells him to go?
The only time I can think of is during Race Wars. That it's another guy.
Is it a hot guy?
It's a hot guy. He's a little bit older, but yeah, it's a hot guy. Sure.
I mean, Hector's not bad looking himself.
No.
Hector's
I
pretty
think
good. He looks exactly like my cousin.
So you can't. You probably should comment on his attractiveness then.
No, probably.
Wow.
I mean, there's lots of people. It's a pretty typical Mexican look, at least. Maybe the features are a little bit different, but this outfit, this facial hair, the eyebrows, the bald head. It's a pretty typical Mexican look.
Sure.
So that's all I meant by that. There's a lot of things that don't look like him. But yeah, he's excited about this, and yes, I can't remember a time because there's one. Well, as we talked about this about a million times. There's not a whole lot of races in this franchise.
Mhm.
There's like maybe one a movie, and sometimes there's none.
Many times are none.
Probably. Yeah.
Proper
Yeah.
races, I mean.
Yeah, proper races. Yeah.
We quickly transition from racers to car chasing and tank chasing airplane.
Yeah, but like proper
Submarine.
racing, like a quarter
Yeah.
mile race from point A to point B, that doesn't really happen much. And then at Tokyo Drift, there's no quarter miles, but there's, you know,
Drifting.
two races, I guess. I think. But there's not many races, and if I remember correctly, I think most of them are started by like some hot woman.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I mean, Hector, you know, Hector, who knows? He might identify that way. He might feel like that on the inside. I'm not here to judge. That's just how it goes. You want that? Hector, you do you. You do you, Hector. We love you. And then we get our iconic shot of all four cars and the back end flames coming straight out of the exhaust, which I don't know if is this easy to do? Is this something that these cars just do? Because that seems dangerous.
Yeah, is that good? Is that a good thing?
I think just a mod that you install on the exhaust pipe. And that's
Just a
pretty
flame
much
mod?
it, I guess.
Can I
Hold my car to
can I-
shit fire.
Can I get one of them flame mods installed, please?
You either do that or you just put some fire decal on the side and call it a day. There has to be some flames involved somewhere.
Yeah, it makes it go faster, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Here, this is what I was talking about. I'm being so excited. So, for those just listening, this most definitely will be the thumbnail for
Yeah,
this
it's gotta be.
episode. He's into it. He's just straight up about to say go. He's also standing in his car, raised at the top of it because he's got like probably like a T-top or something like that where the top part comes off, but not quite a convertible where the whole back part is off too. I think he's just in the middle like that. And yeah, he's just like go. And man, does he look excited.
It seems really rushed how he tells him to go. I mean, I understand because it's like, oh, there's the cops are distracted. Go, go, go. But like, there's so much pageantry in every other race. It feels like for him to be like, all right, cool, we got go, go, go. Like,
Yeah.
how long were they waiting there, waiting for cops to be distracted? What if like the thing was, oh, there's a street race going on. Oh, they're on their way. Everybody go home.
I do know that like right before this, several minutes where Brian blows past the line. They do have two girls who are spray painting a start line that they cross each other. So like that's a little bit of pageantry. There's a little bit of that, but yeah, not really. This is I think as raw of a street race as I think we ever get.
Which, by the way, they sprayed that line on, and then Brian just go right over it. Those girls are probably like, "Yo,
I sprayed this for a reason. What do you think we were doing here?" I mean, he's a buster, right? It's just what he does.
we don't
but
know that
also
yet.
like it should have been like red flag number one of like this guy has no idea what's going on."
There's so many flags this dude's a cop, and I feel like everyone's clocking them, but no one's talking about it. So that makes the ending even funnier to think about that Dom just didn't catch it. Because Dom knows everything. He's a master of like perception in all these other movies, but like a little thing like betrayal, he just can't pick up on because he loves family too much. Brian's suddenly family, but Brian's also a cop and he can't clock it.
I think that's where that whole like Brian buying into the whole thing really like sells that, because I mean that is the ultimate, not the ultimate, but it's a pretty good cover where you actually do want to be there. So yeah, I mean I think, and it's hard too. I don't really know how undercover works at all, obviously. But like his boss knew he was turning. He should just pull them out. It should have been the end of the movie right there. He knew he was gone.
This reminds me of completely unrelated. Sorry, but it's
Oh please.
Got it.
about like just the James Acaster special about him being undercover.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
talking about?
yeah, absolutely.
It's what is it? It's he's a cop undercover as a comedian or something like that.
Is that when he's on his knees? Is it
And
that
actually-
one?
Yes. Anyway,
Yeah, we need more.
Funny
Netflix,
stand-up
James
show,
Acaster.
yeah.
There's
Yeah,
four
look
of
it
them.
up.
They're all amazing.
What is this?
Stand-up specials on Netflix. James A. Caster, he dropped 4 of them at the same time, and they all
I'm
like.
James A. Caster. I'm James A. Caster. I'm James A. Caster. He sings his own name to the Survivor tune. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. He's just singing. Yeah, no, I love James A. Caster. He's great. I don't think I've seen his special though.
I highly recommend it.
Good news. There's 4 of them. You're way behind.
Yeah, I'm way behind. I see him on. So I saw him on Taskmaster. He was hilarious on, and I see him on all the British panel shows because they use like the same people all the time.
It's my favorite thing.
He's great. It's all great. Okay, so Alvaro, we got your favorite moment. We have our
Yes.
fully CGI'd. Let's put the camera through the vehicle to see all the parts. I have no idea if any of this is actually accurate to a car, but we see it all.
And that's what, like here, like when you see the cars lining up and the spray painting, it's like adrenaline starts going on. Once the CGI through the innards of a car goes, it's all the way up. Like nothing, like from here to the end of the race is just a flurry of adrenaline, and I am gripping my seat at the movie theater, just leaning forward, and I'm like, I am here for this. And then I was hooked into the franchise.
I'm asking for an 80% ticket return because I only use 20% of the seat.
So I have a question about this scene because this is like an iconic scene.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to answer it, but yeah, okay.
So I know they do this in one other movie in this franchise. Are those the only?
The CGI through the engine?
Yes.
Is it really only one other movie?
I don't know if it's only one. That's my question. Do they do it more than twice? Because I can call out one and another time that they do it. And also they do it in the like not related movie, kind of related movie, Torque. Torque, which came out 3 years later, rips off this movie so much.
Yeah.
And in the movie, they make fun of this movie. They say, "I live my life a quarter mile at the time." They say that's a stupid phrase, and then they do this shit. They go through the engine of a motorcycle. It's the same thing.
I think
it's the same producers.
I think 2 does it.
2? Okay, because I know Alvaro Earmuffs 10 does it.
Okay.
What's the? Is it? It's not 5. Is
we could just say numbers.
8. Whichever
5
one.
is not 8.
I think he's in Cuba. The one where he like races with it puts like a.
Cuba is 6, isn't it?
It's the one where he puts like the can flappy thingy and and rigs the engine of the very old car
to pull the tube. Oh, is that?
Yeah.
Wait.
I think they do it there too when it starts breaking down and stuff.
Yeah, it's where the one where Michelle Rodriguez or Letty pops up and it's with Dom's cousin, and they're like, and he's like, what's that? And Letty goes, "This is Cuban nos,"
which I'm assuming is coffee. It's just like concentrated coffee,
probably. But yeah, no,
Alvaro,
that scene you're talking about, apparently what he does there is kind of legit, but like still nobody should do it. He has something that pulls off the one of the air intakes so that the engine runs super lean, essentially having very little to no coolant or any type of filter in between, so that it just runs everything into it and just boosts the engine. It also does a lot of damage to the engine, as we see, because he flies with a giant ball of fire in his face, or he drives with a giant ball of fire in his face for a while.
Alvaro, what is a Colombian or Venezuelan nos?
What is that? Colombians. I'm not gonna get into stereotypes here.
I was like, I have an idea. It'll make you go fast.
And then Venezuela's oil, just straight up petroleum.
Yeah,
well, that works.
It makes sense. It doesn't. It's straight pure uncut petroleum.
Yeah.
You know what I love from this CGI thing?
Straight from the ground.
You know what I love from the CGI thing is if they go through the engine, they're going through all this bad CGI, and it pops out of like Optimus Prime's chest. Because in the movies when they transform, it's just like it's like a pile of metal, and then there's a human shape. So it looks like that to me.
Yeah, or like their chest is like it's on fire because there's like a core burning inside, right? And it's
same.
essentially this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally am with you. And I mean, that's why in the last episode, I may or may not have thrown a Transformer movie into our quiz. I'm trying to remember why I did that. It must have been because I was just thinking about just machines and the fact that there's a visual relation, maybe. Because those movies are also batshit crazy, but I love them because they're just live action animes, really.
I mean,
Have you seen the trailer for? You've seen the trailer for it, right?
The new one?
For Rise of the Beast, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know how many times they're gonna do the trope of "I'm not driving this car is driving itself," because I feel like that showed up in multiple movies by now.
This one kind of feels like almost like a visual story beat reboot of the first movie.
Right.
and this one, this guy's like, I'm not driving this rhino. This rhino's driving itself.
Mhm,
Also,
mhm.
this rhino's kind of a guy.
It does seem like the kid in this movie is way more capable than Shia LaBeouf's character, though.
Is Mark Wahlberg still in these? I honestly don't know.
I don't know. He did get introduced late though, so maybe. I don't know. You feel like somewhere, maybe it was a Doug Loves Movies where they talked about him dying in the movie. I don't know. Don't know.
Are you thinking
What
the
if-
Mark Wahlberg character in Douglas movies? Because he kind of died.
No, Daniel Van Kirk. Yeah,
Yeah.
He is hilarious though. I do love him.
Sure.
Him and Doug were both. So there was a giant crossover this last week of podcasts that I love. So Dan Van Kirk and Doug Benson were on. They were on All Fantasy Everything, and they were drafting action stars. They're drafting the greatest action stars. I am very pleased to say that they did. One of them picked Charlize Theron, which is great, but they didn't even cite some of her biggest action roles, or not biggest, but her best action roles. And they were talking about Cypher and stuff like that, and she just sits in a box for a movie, and I understand. But they obviously talked about Atomic Blonde, which is fantastic and
Sure.
just a huge action film. But they didn't really talk too much about Fury Road. A little bit. They didn't talk about one that was a Netflix movie called The Old Guard.
Oh, the
Or
Old
her-
Guard is fantastic.
Yeah,
I
I've been meaning to
love
watch
the
it.
Old Guard.
Cool.
Yeah, they just played badasses, right?
Yeah,
And,
the Old Guard's really good.
Yeah.
Actually, now that you're talking about this, I just come to realize how many action movies she's been in. They're all
Yeah,
pretty
she's
good.
great. She's a great action star for
You ever
sure.
watch Eon Flux?
I haven't, but I heard the story sucks, but it's super fun to watch.
It is fun to watch. Yeah, I really like Eon Flux. But yeah, the Old Guard, Fury Road. Yeah,
I mean, she basically steals the movie from what's his face, Tom
Hardy.
Hardy.
Tom Hardy.
Yes. Yeah, it's her movie, which is sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to see kind of what they do with her in the future, the next movie. But yeah, so they did a little mini draft or they did a full draft, and I thought that was both infuriating to listen to, but also very fun to listen to, because there were so many things. But yeah, anyway,
Fast and infuriating.
fast and infuriating. So yeah, we get our first CGI little gun through the engine. I tried to get so many screenshots, but every time I pause, because it's kind of an older movie, everything's blurry. So I was like, this is the best one I can get.
yeah.
And then it comes out to
So I
tire
do have a
screeching.
question for y'all, real quick. Actually, sorry for
What up?
and maybe you already discussed this and I missed it.
it doesn't
For-
matter. We'll talk about it again.
For
It's
you,
Dan and Daniel, and we both have partners named Katie.
especially, especially because this is the first movie. So for you, out of the title name, who is the Furious and who is the Fast?
Oh, between the two of us?
No, between Dom and Brian,
Okay, I was between the
ooh.
two of us. That's interesting.
and then
Well-
between the two of you.
Hmm.
Dom has a sneaky furious, but I don't know if I'd call him furious. But then Brian's not furious either.
Well, and Brian's bad at being fast because every time he goes fast, he spins out for no reason. So,
True.
and then he gets furious. Maybe neither.
He
Dom's
does have the
one that,
shorter temper, I think.
Dom's the one that broke someone, assaulted someone with a wrench or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
the guy
is
he
it-
blamed for killing his dad.
Yeah, exactly. But then he's also fast because
And he's like the guy known for street racing. So I guess I would say he's the fast one. And since he's always able to see like 9 steps ahead of his enemies, he's more calm and collected than he gives off. So I guess that would make Brian the Furious.
There you go.
Mhm.
We
And
corrected
between
it.
and between us, I mean, how fast do you run? Because that's all I can bank on.
I haven't sprinted in years. You're the much better runner at this point, that's for sure.
So I guess that's that. And if I get mad, I can't lift things. And you're a calm guy that likes to lift things.
I
so
got a
think
Latin temper, so I could get
There we
pretty
go.
furious.
all that was much easier than Tom and Brian.
I'll take it. I'm the furious. Well, yes. So you can't. So yes, I think it's a good point to say there's no oil or any fluids going on here, but I think that's fair. I think it would, all you'd see is just things just coated in oil. It's also, this has got to be a pretty big undertaking in the CGI world for 2001, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know. We haven't done it.
Matrix is what, 2 years before this, and that's like
that was the epitome of CGI
right
at that time.
Yeah,
Like
there was a lot
to be revolutionary.
Right, and then Dark City before that. I was talking about Dark City recently. So Dark City, it's stupid. So like Dark City's hilarious because so the sets for the Matrix and Dark City are essentially the same sets. So if you look in the background of both movies, they have like the same backgrounds all the time, and they're completely different movies. Dark City is just weird, like dark punk, psycho mindfuck, and Matrix is kind of that, but more futurized. It's weird, but yeah, there is some like the thing with a lot of the Matrix though is a lot of the Matrix is kind of practical. They just use wires and stuff. I feel like
that is true.
There's
bullet time and the ripples when the helicopter crash are pretty sure like the heaviest ones. And then no, because not even the squids. The squids are models, right?
I think so. I know a lot of the second and third movies were models. I think they did a lot of work making those pretty practical, which is kind of cool. But yeah,
Alvaro, there's your podcast, Minute by Minute on the Matrix.
Oh, I'm there. I'm there.
At least only 3 movies, and well, I guess there's an animated movie.
There's 4, baby.
There is 4 movies. And an animated movie, and then I think a couple of shorts. So
there's a video game that's pretty fun.
I think there's a couple video games. Yeah, I think there might be. I don't know. There are video games, so that would actually be a big undertaking as well. But yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of stuff in this movie that doesn't need to be digitized, but it does in a way. And I think they do a pretty good job at it. We also have in this minute exactly what we've been talking about for the last, episode and a half is Brian just not knowing what he's doing, because and evidently for amateurs who have never really done this before. Also, I've got something else to point out weirdly. For amateurs that haven't done this before, I guess it's kind of, it happens. You don't really keep it straight sometimes when you're going, but he's not supposed to be that amateur. I don't know. But yeah, he's skidding.
Depending on how hard you step on the gas, there is some traction issues that you can have that will make the back of the car kind of like give out on you. So there could be some issues there, but
also I know it's not an Evo, but is this an all-wheel drive vehicle?
No idea.
So I know that. Oh, I don't know, but I would assume that affects it a little bit too.
I can tell you right now, it's a green one.
It's a green one.
It is green.
With tons of
knobs. And then like how much practice did he have before getting into that car, right? So we only see the one scene.
He used to boost cars, so like he's got some practice in driving. I think that's a real thing about him. I think that's something that like got him into the police force, was like he's got to stop doing all this and actually like go straight or something, and that meant becoming a cop, I guess. I don't know.
The usual thing, a cop arrests you, like, hey, you seem good at this. Do you want to join us? It happens all the time.
I mean, also like I'll just let you know from my personal experience, if I were in that position, I'm not even getting off the line because I don't know how to drive stick. So just off the bat, I
Sure,
lost that
sure.
race.
So Alvaro, actually, you mentioned in the last episode that like you were fascinated with car culture. I've only known you to drive SUVs, like a
I
mid-sized
do.
SUV.
And that is a lot of that has to do because I am very tall and I hate being in very low cars.
So you would not street race because you're tall.
Exactly that. I would just be annoyed that I have to like really bend down and like go down into the car. I'm just like, no, absolutely not.
I do
Okay.
feel like all four of these guys aren't super tall. I don't think
Supposedly Dom is like 6 foot, but we looked this up recently.
Wait, I think Paul Walker's like 6'2", so
Yeah,
he's
he did
pretty
some height.
tall. That's
How
true.
tall?
Not anymore.
How tall is Ja Rule?
Well, it was. Yeah, it was.
He's negative
Sorry.
6 feet tall
My
now.
bad. Ouch. We do. What's his name? Vince is 6'3". I think we talked about 6'3", 6'4".
Ja Rule's 5'9".
Yeah. Okay. I figure most of these guys are of average height, so like that's a thing. I don't know. I'm in a sedan. I drive a sedan normally, and yeah, sometimes you're just like, I don't really want to get out of this right now, especially after like a long gym session or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I get
You
it.
just sit there, you're like, ah.
Yeah, I get it.
No, but yeah, that's the reason why.
Yeah, me too, guys. Sometimes it's like, oh, I gotta
So
swing
before-
my legs out.
right around the time we met, I think I was sharing a 1990 Accord with my sisters. That's the last sedan type car that I drove. Before then, I shared a Geo Metro with my sisters.
Oh, that's a small car.
What was the
that
fastest one?
Yeah, probably the one that I have now.
Okay.
What I was gonna mention is I for some reason always visualize us being on like just normal streets, just like in the middle of like all these businesses and homes and stuff like that, while during this scene. But I forget we're right next to an airstrip, or like an aircraft graveyard, and we see this both in the helicopter shot right before like the lead up into the establishing shot that goes into the scene, but also in this shot right here we see some plane fins in the back.
Huh. Okay.
Some tail fins there. But yeah, so
are
it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, sort of, at least.
Until they go and you go by businesses the entire time.
Yeah. Okay, so the last part I want to talk about. Oh, so one, this is if we remember Jesse getting super excited as everybody's pulling up in the line. We have Hector jumping for joy. This is the only clear shot I can get, is him just going crazy. He's so excited for this race to start. And it started, and Hector is just, he's quite literally jumping for joy right now. He's so into it.
Is it this exciting, or is it like, do they really not, like, in my head, they race all the time. This should be
Right.
like blasé for this entire crew, but everyone's stoked like they've never seen a race before.
Well, I mean, if you look at the guy next to him, he's just kind of like, well, they're gone.
Off they go. Yeah.
Goodbye. Yeah, because it's got to be kind of boring for everybody at the finish line or at the starting line, right? Because they're just gone. They're
Yeah.
a quarter mile down the way, and we don't really know what happened right away.
Dom announces 100 people got in an alley and they're going to do exactly one race and they're all going to go home. And everyone's like, yeah, that's cool. Great. No, it's a waste of everybody's time.
Yeah.
Well, supposedly they're doing a quarter mile. I'll get into that next episode.
Yeah. So we have both of they go to these shots pretty often throughout this minute, and I think the next minute. These exact shots of just outside the driver's seat. I guess we don't have the thing I wanted to talk about. It's in the next minute. But they do it, yeah. So they do it like twice. So it's here, then Hector, and then Dom, and then Brian again. And this is the last part of the minute as we see this. The timestamp is 18:58, and I believe the next couple seconds are just this.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have this. The race has started finally. we're finally into the race win. It's going. It's the first race and we're doing it.
They're fast. They're going fast and
They're-
not just stealing things.
They are going fast. I do feel like the steering wheel is a good way for actors to just flex. It's a good thing to grip on so that if you're muscular, you can just start flexing. Exactly.
Yeah. Doesn't work.
Exactly. All right. Are you ready for game time?
Oh, we're doing another game.
Ooh.
We got more
Is it the
games.
same game?
It's a different game.
It's a
This
different game.
time
Okay.
I'm gonna say Fast 9 because we didn't say that one.
This is a different game. Actually, this is going to be a numbers game.
Nice.
Although, like, yeah, you guys may have you can consider the last game a numbers game too. No, but this is purely just numbers. So this game is called Family. And I've called this game Family
And you can name
because-
every game Family and it would be fine.
This
But
game is
tell
called
us
Family
why.
because we're gonna go through each movie, and you guys are gonna to guess a number without going over Price is Right style of how many times they say family in that movie.
Oh Lord.
Collectively or one character?
Collectively.
Okay, because I have seen a list of how many times Dom says it. And lucky you, I don't remember.
Okay.
So
I
even
will
still,
say that we're gonna be using the insider.com stats. But there is a fandom.com page about this franchise, and the total number that they come up to, because fandom only counts up the total. I got the individual movies from insider.com. The totals don't agree.
okay.
Interesting.
So, and I feel like fandom didn't add 10 in yet, but even after I add all the ones that don't include 10, it still didn't add up. So we are going with the insider.com numbers. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Correct me if you want, but I'm not going to change anything. This is just how it goes. So we're going to play this game called Family. How many times is family uttered in each of these movies? And we'll go in order. We'll start with the first one. You guys will both go just in turns. We'll start with Daniel, and then we'll go to Alvaro. And the closest one without going over will win a point. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
I'm ready.
So Daniel, for The Fast and the Furious, how many times?
This is the 1954 one.
No, this is
Oh,
the
okay,
movie we're watching right now.
I'm gonna say 3.
3. Okay.
I am going to say 15.
15.
15 times.
Okay. Unfortunately, you both don't get any points because Daniel went over by 1. They only
Only
say
twice?
family twice in this movie.
Like I said, I saw a list where how many times Dom says it, and I knew for this
Ah.
one Dom says it twice. I'm like, so one other person doesn't say it. Fuck.
It might be Mia. Oh, it actually might be Brian's boss. Because he
Harry
might
or the cop boss.
the cop boss. Because he talks about you gotta decide which family you want or something like that. So yeah, so it is 2, unfortunately. All right, next. We'll start with Alvaro this time. Too Fast, Too Furious.
Too Fast, Too Furious. They say it. Now I need to readjust here. I feel like they say it probably less times. But I'm going to go with 4.
4 is not less than 2, but yeah, okay. Daniel.
Based on the cast, I'm gonna say 0.
Daniel's correct. It is 0 times.
0 times.
They say it 0 times.
There's no actual family in that one. There's no Dom. There's no
Yeah.
Mia. There's
That
no,
is true.
Letty. They're off on their
There-
own adventure.
There are 3 parts of the family that are considered family later. Is it only 3? So it's Rome, Brian, and Tej. Are there any other characters introduced in that? I don't think so, right?
No.
I don't think so. So I mean, the family's there, but yeah, it's there's no Dom, so I guess there's that. Okay. Tokyo Drift.
It's me now,
Start with
right?
Daniel. Yep.
think I'm gonna go. I want to go 0 again.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with, because I feel like there were a lot of conversation between the dad and the son, and someone had to have said family at one point. So I'm gonna go with 2.
Okay. Very good context clues. It was 2.
Yay!
It does mention family twice, which is interesting because, like, yeah, I wonder if that was that Justin Lin that directed that?
Yes.
Was that his first movie?
I think so.
I wonder if he was like having conversations or something with Vin Diesel at that point. Is like, we need to. I may not be in this. We may not talk about family the same way, but that needs to be a theme. That might have been exactly what Alvaro was just saying. Was like, there's a family theme there. So yeah, it makes sense. All right, Fast and Furious, which is the 4th movie. Alvaro goes first.
6 times.
Okay, 6 times.
8.
8. Answer is 2. Answer is 2. No points. Which,
where is this meme coming from? When does this
so
meme
that's what's crazy is like
kick in?
you think it has to like happen later or something. Don't forget Suki. This comes from chat. Suki is mentioned. Okay, so there's actually brings up an interesting point. So in Fast 6, whichever one they go to Dubai, and Tej and Hobbs are buying the cars. Is that they're like at the auction and they're like buying the cars. Tej mentions sort of a divorce and taking half his shit. Is that Suki?
Interesting.
Just bring her on. Bring on the
Bring
show.
on Suki. All right, here's the one of the fan favorites. Obviously not the critic favorite, but one of the fan favorites. Fast 5. I don't remember. Daniel Alvaro. Daniel, you're first.
I'm gonna say 5.
Okay. Alvaro?
I am going to say, I'm gonna say 7 times.
7 times. The answer is 5.
Oh wow, that's really good.
That's very funny.
Fast
I was
5
try-
says 5 times.
Yeah, I was trying to remember all the conversations that they had.
Mhm.
Like when Mia told Brian that she was pregnant, and then when what's his face, the guy that ends up dying, the one that didn't trust Brian, Vince.
Oh, Vince?
Oh yeah.
When Vince
Yeah.
gets killed, spoiler alert, sorry chat. I feel like there was a lot of conversation about family throughout all that. So
Sure. That's something to remember, possibly start thinking about for next episode, by the way. Just a quick hint, means nothing unless you really think about it, or maybe you don't, I don't know. But we're up to, it's only 2-1. Scores 2-1. Fast and Furious 6, which I think has got to be the most uncreative title in all of these, but Fast and Furious 6, I will I guess ignore Fast and Furious. Alvaro will go first on this one.
4.
4. Okay.
I'm gonna
Daniel?
try this again.
No, I
6.
fucked it up.
I'm gonna try again and go 6.
6. Daniel's correct, or at least the closest, but it's 11.
11 times. So this is when it starts ramping up.
So yeah, so we're talking about exactly what you just said. When does it become a meme? Well, I think the meme is happening. Who goes next? Who goes next? We're tied up, by the way.
Also, by
Dan-
the way, it's still in a joke from the internet, respecting
Sure, as we all do.
the names. Yeah, of course. Like I'm still very mad that 10 wasn't called Fasten Your Seatbelts, but
Yeah, why is it
I've
one?
heard that one. I hate it so much.
I mean, why wasn't 4 called Fast and Furious?
exactly.
No, I hate it all. Please. I hate it all.
So 7.
7.
I believe it's me. Odd
Mhm.
number. Yeah, that works out.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say 20.
20. Okay.
I'm gonna go with 15.
20 is
15.
high.
Answer's 9.
Yeah.
9. Only 9 times. All right, Alvaro, the fate of the Furious.
I'm gonna say 12 on this one.
Okay.
I'm gonna try this again and go 8.
8. Alvaro is closest with 16. I mean, that's got to be mostly Cypher, right? She's got to
Yeah.
be talking about
Yeah,
that most of the
probably.
time. And then just simply F9.
It's 9. Call for the
Fine.
Cheetos in the back. 9.
Cheetos. Now Frito-Lay has to pay us for that.
13.
13.
I feel like that was one probably like 9 times. I'm gonna employ Daniel's strategy on this one.
Oh, it's so close. It was 7.
Ah,
7 times. All right. All right. For the last one, Fast X or Fast 10, which is Alvaro.
I haven't seen it, but I'm just gonna take wild stabs in the dark.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. You probably don't need to see it to get to guess these anyway.
I'm gonna say 16 times.
16. Okay.
I'm gonna go 14.
14 and 16. You guys should have gone high. It was 27.
Damn it!
27?
Yeah.
27 times they say family in Fast X.
No way.
Which is insane. Alvaro wins 4-2.
Min realized, honestly.
Fair enough.
It's crazy. So the total for that comes out to 81 times it is said throughout the franchise. Fandom.com lists 67 for some reason, but that may be just Dom. I'm not sure.
That's so funny. That's all just Dom.
Yeah, it would be. But yeah, there's 81 times it is said. And yeah, like you guys are talking about, when does it get memed? Like the only one that goes into double digits is 6, and then then it's kind of not much, but I mean, Fast 10 takes the majority by a long shot.
Yeah.
It's huge. Absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for watching, listening, subscribing, liking, or just, maybe we're beaming this to your head, or as the freeloader, Katie in the other room is probably listening to this just via echo right now as I'm screaming. Freeloader, whatever. Why did I say that? Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to follow us and check out the Linktree at linktree.com/60secondcar. You can follow all of our social medias. We pretty much right now we're posting just when the episodes are going live, but Daniel's been pretty good at putting on Instagram like something about the episode, which has been awesome. If you guys want to, if we can post like some funny memes and stuff. Send them over to us. You can email us at 60secondcar@gmail.com. Send us the memes. Even though emailing memes is just a boomer thing to do, you could send it to us some way.
DM them at 60secondcar on Instagram, where photos live.
Yeah, DM wherever. I mean, if you're on Instagram anyway, you can just share it with us probably. And if it's funny, I'm sure it'll get reposted. Anyway, you can catch us all everywhere. I've been joined by Daniel and Alvaro. My name is Dan, and I'll see you all next time.
Family.